Hi everyone, my name is Akshay Nanavati, Marine Corps veteran of the war in Iraq, explorer, and founder of Human Potential Development, where I help entrepreneurs and working professionals make more money while living a more fulfilled life so that we can live every day with joy, passion, and freedom. Today what I'm going to talk to you about is 5 tips on how to keep your New Year's resolutions. Right now we're just over 3 weeks into the New Year's, and this is when people start to waver a bit. We forget about that commitment we made on the first day of the year because we get caught up in circumstance or some of those old habits and old patterns start coming in the way. Today what I'm going to talk to you about is 5 tips on how to prevent that from happening and make 2013 the best year of your life. Before I get into the 5 tips, I want to talk to you about a whole new paradigm through which to look at life. Most of us come from this place of have, do, be, where I gotta have things like money in order to do things like travel in order to be happy. And so we spend our whole lives struggling trying to make money and make a living as opposed to really designing a life and creating a lifestyle that we actually want to live every day. See, the greatest minds in peak potential development throughout history, from Napoleon Hill to Tony Robbins to Brian Tracy to Jack Canfield, have all found that the first step really begins with the being. Because once you shape that being, then you'll actually start taking action. And you'll be able to have everything you want in life. The self-help industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're all going out there, buying the books, going to the seminars, buying the audio tapes that tell us exactly what we need to do. Brandon Bouchard runs a program called the Experts Academy, where he tells you step by step how to market yourself and sell your message, the message you have within you about your life to the world. Not only to make money, but to make a difference. And yet he himself said that most people don't actually do it. Why is that? Because it always begins with the being. So today my 5 steps are going to focus on how to transform your being, because the doing is simple. You all know what to do. You can Google how to do certain things. We're going to focus on the being today. That's how you're going to keep your New Year's resolutions and make this the best year of your life. So the first step in shifting that being is actually knowing where you are. In order to get from point A to point B, you got to know what point A is. So the first step is ask yourself, who are you? One of the strongest forces in the human condition is a desire to take action in line with our self-identity. So what is your self-identity? Is it limiting you? What are the beliefs that are holding you back? People that I work with sometimes believe that I'm too old or I'm too young to do certain things. These are nothing more than limiting beliefs that are holding them back. They're not facts, they're just interpretations of events or experiences in their life. Are you playing to your strengths? There's a great book called StrengthsFinder 2.0 that'll help you find out what your strengths are. And granted, we all have weaknesses, but this is about leveraging the strengths you do have, because every one of us have a certain set of strengths that we can use to sell our message to the world and make a living and design a life. And then what do you associate pain and pleasure to? All human behavior is driven by the need to avoid pain and the desire to gain pleasure. Everything you do. Why do we procrastinate? It's because we associate more pain to action and less pleasure to the outcome, to the end result that we want to achieve in our lives. Simply shift those associations and you'll take action. And finally, what are the questions you ask yourself? See, all thought is an answer to a question or a question itself. Even right now, if you're disagreeing with me, it's because your mind's asking itself, is he right or is he wrong? But now that you know this, you can start asking yourself the right questions, the empowering questions that drive your life forward. And these are the questions that separate a warrior from a victim. A victim asks questions like, how could I possibly make money in this economy? Why do bad things always happen to me? Who would possibly want to hear what I have to say? A victim asks questions giving power to somebody else, to circumstances, not power to themselves. A warrior asks questions like, okay, great, this happened. What can I do about this? What can I learn from this? What is good about this? What else can I make this mean? Do you hear the difference in those questions? A warrior asks questions taking 100% responsibility for their life. And by doing so, you are not only 100% responsible for the life that you have created so far, you are 100% responsible for changing that if you so choose to. You can create the life you want to live. And the reason I have it on a scale like this is we're not all always in warrior mode. We all go through moments of being a victim, of blaming the world outside of us. And so when you go through there, it's not to beat yourself up. It's just to recognize it and say, okay, I'm choosing to be a victim right now, and I can choose to go back to being a warrior, because that's the only way you're going to change your destiny, is to take 100% responsibility for everything around you. Once you do that, the next step is to get leverage. Getting leverage is about turning a should into a must. We all have shoulds in our life, like I should stop eating junk food, I should start exercising, I should take certain actions to make my business successful, but we don't do it because it's not a must. In order to make it a must, the first step is to know your why. Simon Sinek, the best-selling author of the book Start With Why, said that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Once you have a strong enough reason, when you encounter an obstacle or something coming in the way, that reason will drive you forward and push you past that wall. This right here is my why. This is what drives me every day, whether I'm skiing across an ice cap, climbing mountains in the Himalayas, or working on my business to help other people succeed. This is what drives me, and that pushes me past those obstacles that I sometimes face, that we all face. And the eagle and the mountains are just, what came to me in a meditation exercise that I did. Another really powerful way to get leverage is to shock yourself. Start associating massive pain to your current reality. Think about it this way. If you got your hand on a stove and it's cold, you can leave it on there permanently. But as soon as it gets hot, you're going to take it off. You're going to do something differently. So start associating massive pain to your current reality, and that's how you will change it. Another really powerful way to get leverage is to look at the people you care about. Sometimes we'll do more for our family, our loved ones, maybe our children or our parents or our wives or our husbands, than we will for ourselves. Ask yourself, what would it do for them if you started taking the action that you've been putting off for I don't know how long, months, years even? What would that do for them? And finally, the fourth step in really creating the life that you want to live and making 2013 the best year ever, and it's another form of leverage really, but I choose to make it its own step because it's so powerful. And this is called meditating on death. Steve Jobs himself said that remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Ancient samurai used to believe that every day one must picture the swords going into their heart, or drowning in a flood, or dying in an earthquake. And this is not something you need to go to that extremes if you don't want to, but meditating on death is going way in time into that distant day in the future where you're going to die, and ask yourselves, have I lived the life I wanted to live? Have I done the things I wanted to do? Have I become the person I wanted to become? And this is not, again, to beat yourself up about where you are now. This is to say that, okay, I still have so much time left in my life, and I can choose to change my destiny today, right now, right here. And when you come back in time from that distant day in the future where you're lying on your deathbed and you come back to the now, it'll shift your perspective on life. Not only will you start doing things differently, most of all, you'll fill your heart with love for those around you, and most of all, love for yourself, because it all begins with self-love. You can't possibly love anybody else unless you fill your heart with self-love. And some of the ways to do that is to get a balance between your mind, body, heart, and spirit. So many of us are overstressed in some of these areas, maybe in our mind or our heart, and understressed in our body and spirit. Create the balance between all four of those, and you'll become so self-confident. You'll fill yourself with self-esteem. You can do anything that comes your way. And positive self-talk. That's, again, asking yourself those right questions. Use affirmations on a daily basis. I write down affirmations on 3x5 cards and carry with me wherever I go. Connect with the whole. What I mean by that is connect with the entire humanity, and realize that no matter how successful a person is, whether they're Bill Gates or RG3 or LeBron James or Brandon Bouchard or Tony Robbins, whoever, they all go through the same fears, the same doubts, the same anxiety that you and I do. And this is to normalize the things you go through so you realize it's not that big a deal. You've already started meditating on death, so now you've started putting the bigger things in perspective as opposed to worrying about the smaller things. So that's what connecting with the whole is all about. When I was in Greenland, I was skiing across an empty ice cap, and I felt so small in this giant world around us. And it really was humbling. I got so much humility from that experience. That's one of the strongest traits any successful people have, is humility. So develop that. That will push your self-love forward. And every day, celebrate your successes and see what you're grateful for. Along with my affirmation cards every night, I log down, what was I successful today? What am I grateful for? No matter how big or how small, but just to celebrate that. And drive that mindset in. So now, when I get up tomorrow, I know I'm a successful person. And I take that mindset with me to every day that I move forward in. So condition success as a mindset. And most of all, take risks. See, I know that take risks kind of delves into the doing, and we chose to really focus on the being. But this is something so powerful, so I really wanted to address it. That self-confidence is the result of successfully having survived a risk. So go out there, take risks. Take a leap into the unknown. Infinite possibilities live out there. And I promise you, when you leap, you will find the net will appear, and you will become stronger and feel yourself with so much love and confidence that you never thought possible. So let's review the 5 steps. First step is know yourself, know where you are now. The second step is becoming a warrior and not a victim. The third step is to get leverage on yourself. Turn your shoulds into musts. Fourth step is to meditate on death, and the fifth step is finally to love yourself. So go out there, take action, change your being, focus on your being before the doing, and I promise you, the 2013 will be the most successful year of your life. And remember, life is your playground. Go play it with joy and passion.